Hello children, this is grade 8 social studies. In this session we are going to start new chapter, that is lesson 1 from history, how, when and where. In 6th you read about history, in 7th you read about history, and now in 8th you are reading again history. You might have observed the common point, and that is in the first chapter of the class is like this: how, when and where. So now we are going to read about it. See, first chapter is very important. Why? Because it doesn't tell about any story, but we come to know the reason behind the stories. So how to read history? Then first chapter is important to understand. So introduction, I will tell you about what we are going to learn, on which prospectus the chapter is important. If we go by the heading of the chapter, how, when and where. Till now you have learnt in your 6th grade about ancient history. In 7th you learnt about medieval period, and now you will learn about modern history. So usually children in 6th and 7th grade felt very bored to read history because it is all about ancient and medieval. But the history which you will read in 8th, it is all about modern history, and 8th history is completely dependent on modern Indian history. In India, when Britishers came, how they came and all, it is all about it in this history. It is very interesting to read, I can say. Now what we are going to study in this first chapter, that is how, when and where. What are we going to study in this chapter? Subtopics are dates to events. It's like contents. Means children usually don't like history because of so many dates. But one thing I would like to tell, that history is not about date centric. Apart from dates, there are events also. Events also very important in history. Now the next subtopic is which dates, means which dates to be considered as related to this topic. Like debates and arguments we will understand in this topic. Now the next subtopic is method of periodization. In method of periodization you will know about James Mill. Next subtopic is what is colonial, and the last subtopic is sources of history. So now we will go with the first subtopic, and that is how important are dates. Now you tell me children, how important is your birthday? It is important for you, for your parents and for your friends. Why for your parents? Because they will get party. So dates are always important because it is attached to the events. So we start giving significance to it. On this day, this thing had happened because of this reason. So we remember the dates because we born on that day and it is important. So dates are important, and how important dates are, or why we should give importance to dates. And one more important thing, like why children get afraid of history, because history is all about dates and history is different from dates also. So now I can say that dates are not centric in history. A time when history was synonymous with dates. There was a time when people started writing history. Then there was only dates and dates, and they finished writing history. There was a time when we relate history with dates. We started observing dates. In history, we are not only writing about dates, but history is all about comparison also, before and after. Like there was a time period when Delhi Sultanate was there, and there was a time when Mughal Sultanate was there. So Delhi Sultanate time period and Mughal Sultanate's time period, both are different here. It's not like you remember only dates. their administrative system was different, here British administrative system was different. So in those days, how much tax was given by peasants, so all these things were there. So think on it, are we reading only dates? No, along with dates we compare things also, like before and after. So I can say that everything has a history. History is not about dates, it is not only date centric, it is a broader prospect. So if we'll see, in world everything has history. For example, tea. Now we are drinking tea, but it was not so easy. How the people started using it? Now one more example, like railways. Today we travel in train, but do you think it was easy? No. How Britishers got this idea and how steam engine invented? Slowly they bring changes. They laid tracks, slow train, fast trains, etc. Now one more example I'll tell you, like paper. We are writing in a paper very easily now, but it was not easy. One whole lesson is there in your 10th grade, that is print culture. So on this sense, if we will see, paper is also having its own history. Printing text, it is also having its own history here. So apart from dates, there are other things also, like we compare in history. So maybe everything happened in a time period. Now time period means there is a difference in dates and time period. Dates means, suppose today is 20th September 2020. Time period means like 2019 to 2020. This is a time period. So date and time period both are different. And in history, if we will see, both dates and time period exist. Like on which day king born, it comes under date, and from which year to year king ruled, it comes under time period. But it is actually incorrect to precise dates to the process. Now if we will see tea, one day tea leaves fell into the hot water and the color and taste has been changed, and slowly, a person drank it and he started telling to other people about it, about its taste, about its energy. So it is like a process. So do you think that it happened on one fine day? No. So for everything there is a time period, but it is actually incorrect to fix precise dates to this process. It is like an event, a process. Let's take railways. It's not like all slept at night and the next day people laid railway lines. It is like a whole time period. If you fix it with dates, then it is incorrect, because one particular date it did not happen. There can be no one clear date for the process. Whatever process, one clear date cannot be mentioned, because it depends on time period in history. Many people say that history is all about date centric, but no, like in history there are events, there are comparisons before and after also. For example, people in India did not drink tea on one fine day. So now our next topic we will discuss in our next video. Thank you, children.